What's something people don't know about Villisca, Iowa? In the early summer of 1912, Villisca was a picture of small-town serenity, a place where neighbors greeted each other by name, doors were never locked, and life's simple pleasures were shared among close-knit communities. But beneath this tranquil facade, a dark secret was about to unfold. Among its residents was the well-respected Moore family, Josiah, his wife Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul. The Moore family was known for their warmth, and their home was often filled with the laughter of children and the company of friends. On the evening of June 9th, the Moores attended a local church event, joined by 2 young guests, Ina and Lena Stillinger. The night was filled with joy, camaraderie, and the kind of fellowship that made Villisca feel like home. But as they returned to the Moore household, an ordinary night was about to turn into a nightmare that would haunt Villisca for generations. But before we dive into the chilling events that followed, if you're fascinated by true crime stories and paranormal mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss the spine-tingling tales we uncover every week. As the town of Villisca drifted into slumber, the Moore household was enveloped in the quiet of night. Josiah, a strong and respected figure in the community, lay beside his wife Sarah, whose life revolved around her family. Their children, Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul, were nestled in their beds, their dreams untouched by the darkness closing in. In the guest room, Ina and Lena Stillinger, friends of the Moore children, slept peacefully, unaware of the horror about to befall them. But within the shadows of the Moore house, an ominous figure waited. Was this person driven by jealousy, madness, or something even more sinister? Whatever the motive, they had been watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and that moment had come. The house was deathly silent as the figure moved through it, axe in hand. The killer entered Josiah and Sarah's bedroom first. The sound of the axe cutting through the night air was the only disturbance in the otherwise quiet town. The murderer showed no mercy. Josiah, Sarah, then Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul. Each of the Moore children was mercilessly struck down in their sleep. The Stillinger sisters were the last to face the axe. Lena, the older of the 2, may have awoken to the horror, but it was too late. The house, once filled with laughter, was now a tomb of unspeakable violence. Morning dawned on Villisca, but the Moore house remained eerily silent. A concerned neighbor, sensing something was wrong, entered the home and uncovered the gruesome scene. Blood stained the walls, the axe lay abandoned, a grim testament to the horror that had transpired. The town of Villisca would never be the same. Before we continue, if you're as captivated by this story as we are, consider leaving a like and sharing your thoughts in the comments. What do you think drove someone to commit such a heinous act? We'd love to hear your theories. Decades have passed since that night of terror, but the Moore house remains. Some say the spirits of the Moore family and the Stillinger sisters never left, their souls bound to the place where their lives were so brutally taken. Visitors to the Villisca Axe Murder House often speak of strange occurrences, cold spots, disembodied voices, and the unsettling sound of children's laughter echoing through the empty rooms. Shadowy figures, a heavy presence watching from the darkness. These are just some of the ghostly encounters reported by those brave enough to step inside. One of the most chilling encounters involved a paranormal investigator who spent the night in the house, determined to uncover its secrets. As midnight approached, the house seemed to come alive. Footsteps echoed on the stairs, The temperature dropped sharply, and the door to the children's room creaked open slowly. The investigator's camera captured orbs of light floating in the darkness, and then a shadowy figure appeared in the doorway. The investigator felt a cold hand brush against his neck, and a low, whispering voice filled his ears. Turning around, he was met with the ghostly figures of the Moore children, their faces pale, their eyes filled with sorrow. He fled the house, his heart pounding, but the memory of that night still haunts him to this day. To this day, the identity of the Villisca Axe murderer remains a mystery, lost to the shadows of time. The house stands as a monument to that unsolved crime, a place where the past refuses to rest. Those who visit it leave with stories of strange occurrences, whispers in the night, shadows that move on their own, and the feeling that something or someone is watching. The spirits of the Moore family and the Stillinger sisters are said to linger, trapped in the place where their lives were stolen. The house is now a site of dark tourism, drawing in those who are fascinated by its tragic history and haunted reputation. If you made it this far, you're clearly as intrigued by this case as we are. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest uploads. And if you're brave enough to explore more haunted places and unsolved mysteries, stick around. There's a lot more where this came from. The Villisca Axe Murder House continues to attract paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and those who are simply curious about the past. Many leave with an uneasy feeling, convinced that the spirits are still there, waiting for someone to uncover the truth. But perhaps the truth is something that the house will never reveal. Perhaps it's better that way.